Alright, welcome back to Hearts of Iron Let's Play USA. This will be episode 18 or segment 18. At the end of 17, I had just had a naval battle stopping the Japanese from landing on Midway, and I have two carrier fleets here, one by Halsey and one by Nimitz. Of course, each is backed up by a battleship fleet with King with Halsey and Kalbfuss with Nimitz. And that's a one deal. This shit Japanese ships here are pretty much gone. However, as I ended, I pointed out two things. I wanted to, well, I guess three things. I wanted to take the island here, starting with Palermo. I wanted to get back the Suez Canal for the British, and the Germans were landing in Norway. Now, the game ended, last session ended on 4 a.m. 29 April 1944. And as you can see the date up here in the top left hand corner, 4/29 April 44. And I no longer see the indication that the Germans are invading Norway. So I'm gonna start the game on speed 3 and see if perhaps it pops up. Okay, there we go. I thought there might be an issue, but I can see now it just popped up. And here we're still engaging the Japanese forces, but again, it's a done deal. Let's go back here. And at the very end of the last video, I had started Fletcher and Spruance up to Bergen because we were going to see if we could interfere with the German landing in Norway. And the theory is, my thought process is like this. I don't have any troops to take up there right this moment. I could pull this corps here, take them up. Their armor, though, they would fare very, very badly, and I could take either one of these mechanized corps from here or here. But what I want to do first is see how many troops Germany lands here, because this port size is 4. If Germany lands a good amount of troops, I may just park Fletcher off here with his carrier fleet and port strike and reduce the Germans' ability to supply those troops, and that will let me deal with them at leisure. Now, even help if they move out away from that port some, because then I can take these tactical bombers of Eker and I can logistics bomb the regions, the zones, the provinces around them, and that will just complicate the matters of their supply issues. So for now, I'm just going to let that be. We're going to go back to the North African campaign here, and let's see what can develop. As soon as this last division gets into place, I'm going to pick them up. We'll transport them over to Alexandria. And we're going to invade Alexandria. Again, this will be an amphibious invasion with mechanized infantry. Not ideal, but that's the route we're going to go. As you can see, these Japanese, originally this had 3 or 4 carriers, and apparently we've sunk all but one of them. And you can see they're all worn out and damaged. Now, you could call this a fallacy of the game, but what will happen is this carrier fleet will just continue bouncing back and forth between these two sea zones, and the AI will not let them escape, and I'm not good with that. So I'm going to go ahead and take my fleets away. And because the chances are, if the AI was smart enough, these fleets would get away from me, and I'm not just going to have them bounce back and forth, because that's a little ridiculous. Now, of course, they bounce back into the same sea zone, the Gambia shoals, and resume their... I'm not particularly worried about that, because that's not going anywhere. Let's see how long it takes Fletcher to get up to Norway. Okay, so they just landed at... Well, we don't know for real. Let's take a preliminary look here. Looks like they got Air Force in also. So let's do a ground attack. Do I have supporting fighters? No, I moved my fighters away. We'll see how bad it is. Alright, what have we got? Looks like one corps. I'd say 2. And they've got anti-air, anti-tank. Okay. Looks like they're, whatever their air, okay, their air support appears to be Stukas. So they're CAS, no fighters. Excellent. I'm just going to keep pounding them then. Basing advance, always a very good technology because it allows each port to handle more and more supplies, and I do so enjoy upgrading that. Let's look at our tactical bombers right now. Okay, they're currently undergoing an upgrade. I'm going to upgrade for now. I'm going to go to fighters because it's 1944, so we're going to upgrade to fighters. And light tank armor is already maxed out. We'll move that over to fighter also. We'll go back to Italy. Okay, he's holding on. These two are moving in. Okay, as soon as this one, you can see he's fully reorged, full strength, so we're going to go ahead and plunge ahead here. This guy is taking forever. Oh, he's moving from a mountain. That makes sense. It's mechanized. We're going to be moving slow. Axis have 11 of their victory conditions met already, which is fine. This is a totally different, okay. This may be a totally different attack. I think it's time we did some upgrades. You can see these Italian divisions are very low on organization. Heavy cruiser anti-aircraft upgrade. Definitely like that. Anything to protect my ships, since they take the longest to produce, of course. So the ones you do have are precious. And I think if you've watched any of these videos, particularly the last two, you'll know these light fleets tend to get really beat up. Okay. He's down, so now we're going to attack into their flank here. And even if they win this battle, it's not going to matter. Alright, looks like midway the garrison corps is going to hold out. He's up to approximately 2.5% on his experience, or level 2, and then 2.5% more. Alright then, that's good. And he's a defensive doctrine expert. Let's see, his defense modifier is 212.50, and they're attacking only with 85.50, so he's going to hold. And of course, Halsey and King are resupplying and repairing these ships while in port. Okay, any we talk. Now we're gonna run Nimitz over there and follow him up with Kalbfus. Now that this attack is coming to an end, I will sortie Halsey. I may keep King back. Let's see what we... Yes. Carrier fleet alone is going to handle this. And this is the remnants of that original fleet. He got them all. Halsey got them all. Okay. We'll go back in here. Let's see what Nimitz is going to do. Six on 6. I like those odds. Particularly when mine's a carrier fleet and his is not. Yes, of course we want. Now the thing about light cruiser anti-aircraft, I do like that. I'm going to now follow up with the battleship fleet because, well, I guess they're not going to try. Alright. We'll just move into Eniwetok and put the battleship fleet back into port. And we'll go check on the Germans in Norway. Alright, now we're going to do the logistical bombing of the port to get the infrastructure down. It's currently level 8. Then once the infrastructure is down, that will hamper their supply, and then I'm going to take the port down. I may leave the port because I think I'm just going to land behind them. Alright. Now the problem is, I took up. I sure did. Let's let this stay in the repair for one more day. Spruance, the USS Ranger and the Lexington needs a little more repair, so we're close to the 2300 hour. Okay. Small arms advance. Maxed out. Good. Go straight into fighters. Now, I'm going to move both Fletcher and Spruance back down here because my immediate concern is North Africa. I can always retake Norway. Not that I think they're in any danger of being taken over right now. I'm certain they're not, in fact. They can do a little damage, but they're not going to take over Norway. Alright, so what we're going to do is rebase Fletcher and Spruance back to Tunis. Then once they're here, we're going to pick up Giroux's 3rd Mechanized Corps. We're going to come down here and land in Alexandria. Let's see what we got. Alright, troop carriers. Now, I don't use paratroopers like most people use paratroopers. I very seldom use them in actual frontline combat. What I tend to use paratroopers for mostly in 99% of my games is rebel control. Let's say, for example, Indochina I own, okay? And instead of station a corps or several divisions here in Indochina, I'll put one paratroop division, or actually, yeah, one paratroop division, and it will handle all rebels that come up. If I see a rebel, I simply load him up into an aircraft and drop him on their heads. Same when and if I'm able to get Chinese holdings of the Japanese. I'll put one paratrooper in here, and then if there's an uprising, I'll just drop on their heads. That's just the way I handle things. Again, everybody and their brother has told me in the past that it's not economical. It's number-wise, it's not the great thing to do, but I just don't care. It's just what I do. Okay. How's that coming along? Pretty good. Down to 5.3 from 8. These guys are repairing nicely over in the Pacific. And I have forgotten where my Marines are. Okay, they're at truck. Alright, well, the next thing, air-launched torpedo and light bomb development. Excellent, excellent. Both are air-launched torpedo and light bomb development are both CAG-related technologies. As you can see, torpedo, nav and CAG, and light bomb is CAG and CAS, which I don't have any right now, and I very seldom use fighters, which are the multi-rolls, the bomb, but if I have to, I will. Alright, so in the Pacific, the next thing that we're going to do is systematically we're going to take these ports away from the Japanese. I know your min-maxers will click on the VP map mode and will only take the stuff that you need to get victory points. I don't really care about that. And my thought process here is that if there's any place here that the Japanese can base a navy at, then they can use their submarines to hit my supply lines and or launch invasions. So I want to systematically retake all these islands. Truk was the first large Japanese island I retook, and we needed that because it has the large port and a large airfield. Now, I think historically the U.S. bypassed Rabaul and we just starved it out. But I think Rabaul... Nope, Guam was going to be my next point because Guam was U.S. territory and it was taken by the Japanese. So we're going to take Guam back. In fact, since it's the 00 hour, we're going to run down Halsey. I'm sorry, King and Halsey to Truk. As soon as they get there, we're going to pick up our Marines and go take Guam back. Let's take a look on Fletcher and see what he's doing. Look at there, they ran into a German fleet. Spruance did. Okay, now the Germans, notice they're both transports. I'm actually going to have Fletcher do a naval strike to help out Spruance in this battle. Not that I think he needs it because he's a battleship fleet and they're transport flotillas, but want to be certain. Excellent. Okay. Now we put him back on CAG duty and send him back to Tunis, which is where he was headed to originally. We'll take a look at Norway. Okay, we're taking down the... I wonder, do I have any strategic bombers? Actually, there's some multi-rolls right there. I want to mark them. I mark these so it's easier for me to identify. You know, 10th Air Wing, 7th Air Wing. Who knows if those are interceptors or multi-rolls? Okay, and what is the 8th interceptor? Alright, so apparently I do not have any nav. Let's look what we've got back at. Okay, I've got two. Alright, we want the strategic bombers for right now, because I want to get them some practice in. Take all 3 of them, which is all I have at the moment. We'll call them strategic. And there's another one. I know there's another strategic bomber squadron back here in Cagliari, but I want to leave them there for now. 10, okay. We will set these strategic bombers to Tunis headquarters. Light tank gun advance, excellent. 46 looks really good. Alright, now that their supplies are hampered, give those strategic bombers a little time to reorganize after that long flight. Another air base in Tunis, excellent. Alright, so our CAS pilot training, oddly enough, CAS pilot training and CAS ground crew training also affects carrier air groups, which are CAGs. So that's why I train them, even though I do not have any CAS at the moment. And we're back to medium tank reliability. Excellent. And that should round out. Okay, what have we got in industry? We're going to upgrade our industry production tech. Thinking of the future. By the way, I have forgotten, what do I have in production? Okay, more factories. There's some CAS in production. Looks like one squadron, what I call a squadron. I think in game terms, one of these is an air wing that represents approximately 100 aircraft I've read over the years on the Paradox forums. But for simple terminologies, I'm not going to say, you know, I group them together in 4. I'm not going to say this is 4 air wings, so I just call them a squadron. All right, while he's recuperating, we're going to pick up our Marines. Geiger, Van Griff, and Smith. We're going to go retake Guam. Medium tank armor, always a good thing. We're going to upgrade industrial efficiency and supply production. We'll leave it as is. And it looks like Fletcher and Spruance are just about back, so we'll go ahead and pick up the 3rd mechanized. Alright. We're going to send these interceptors out here to intercept these Japanese fighters, which are probably CAGs coming from right here. But let's see. Nope, they're actual naval bombers. Oh, they're probably coming from Guam or Saipan. Alright, that's fine. Fair enough. We should be eating them up, especially the Zero. Alright, we're going to send in Geiger with the 1st Marines. He's always my go-to guy when it comes to Marines. And Naval Strike. We're going to put the CAGs on air superiority for right now. They're not needed for anything else. There's no naval battles. But we do want them to protect us from the enemy aircraft, which they will do very well. Now, let's pick up the 3rd. Go ahead and go over to Alexandria. We'll send Fletcher and Spruance to clear the way and back up if needed. That's right, them fighters are chewing up them CAGs. Our CAGs are chewing up the Japanese CAGs, which is just what I like to see. Look at that. And I'm pretty sure that Geiger's gonna, 1st Marines are gonna take this island, and it might even get. Is he gonna make skill 5? I think he'll make skill 5. Oh, I think he stopped just before. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right, so let's see what it's the destroyers will help a little bit. We'll see. It's only 1 destroyer with the fleet. 1 U.S. destroyer with that transport fleet. Medium bomb definitely will upgrade our navs and our attacks. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send in 1 division to start the attack on the actual port province. Once he's tied up, the defenders, I will then pick 1 to go to either side. Because remember, these are mechanized units. They don't do amphibious assaults very well. But I'll land 2 in undefended provinces on either side of the port, which is defended, and then I'll have them pincer attack from the sides. Flanking attacks. You can see I've only got a 30% chance of making this work. As soon as these guys are... Alright, cast ground crew. Cast ground crew. I'm going to go for mechanical computing because it's way behind time. This makes my technology, my research more efficient, which means I get more technology at a faster rate, which is what I like. I'm getting way behind on upgrades. Let me run some upgrades. All right. Looks like the Italians are trying to sortie some transport flotillas out. It's not going to work though, because Fletcher is very diligent. See, now we went from 30 up to 71 once the 2 flank attacks started. And there you see that envelopment penalty that the Italians have. It's a negative 10%. So that's because they are enveloped. Get him attacked from more than one side. I'm pretty sure at one time there was also what's called a multiple combat penalty. That may be now these days the envelopment penalty. Let's see if we can sink this Italian battleship. Nope, not yet. But it's not over. Okay, so we're gonna move everybody into here. Now I need to find... I don't have any more garrison units, I don't believe. So what we're going to do is we're going to send... Well, these guys got beat up, didn't they? Do I have another one? No. Alright, well, we're going to have... I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to take the 8th Transport Fleet. What have we got here? Submarines. And I'm going to move them to Pearl, and we're going to pick up one of those infantry divisions, and we'll move it to Guam. For now, they'll be the defenders. That will allow the Marines to take Saipan, and then after that, we're going to go south. Now I'm leaving these little bitty. Alright, I always liked more naval and airfield. I'm going to leave the small ports here because the Japanese want to use these ports and they become a problem. I will port strike them. Remember, I do have 2 carrier fleets active in the Pacific and 1 in the Med. For a total of 9 carriers is all I have. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and bring in the rest of the division. We're going to call off these attacks moving into Alexandria because we're going to want them to help branch out here. Now we'll take the 9th Transport Flotilla and put them back in Tunis. Now here's a good opportunity for us to get a little experience for Fletcher's air crew, so we're going to ground attack. Excellent. We'll check in on the Germans again. Norway. See how the strategic bombers are doing. They're almost up there. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is stop the logistical attacks from the strategic bombers and see if I can get some actual ground attack. Because what we're doing is, in addition to destroying and slowing down their ability to resupply their units, that puts a strain on their economy. If I can actually attack the units and cause the units themselves to also need additional supply and reinforcements, that just compounds the issue. It looks like a small thing, but in the end, when you look here, see, they're already lack of supplies because of this logistical bombing. So if I can also help destroy them, they will not be able to rearm and resupply, and will make them a lot easier to be dealt with when the time comes. Now, we're not forgetting our strategic bombers. We're just going to let them reorg a little bit longer, and then we're going to do the same thing. And I don't want to forget my CAGs and put them back on CAG duty here. It's going to take a while for the 8th. And I call it the 8th because it's key number 8 on my keyboard. And in the meantime, Nimitz and Kafbas, well, Nimitz is certainly repaired. I'm going to send him down here to see what he can find by patrolling. I'm able to get some Japanese convoys trying to resupply these islands, and particularly New Zealand and Australia. We'll let him do his thing. And I'm going to move Kalbfuss back down to truck. Just a larger port. I want him closer. Okay, medium tank and twin aircraft. Medium tank engine. And we can let this twin engine aircraft stay. In fact, we'll throw this in the twin engine airframe. Now that these guys are ready to go, what I want to do is I want to cut the, you can see here I can just go down one province. I mean, I cannot go down one province. So what that does is it cuts the Italians off. The only way these troops, Italian troops, can be resupplied right now is this port. So what I will have is Woodruff and the 81st Wildcat Division walk over and take that port. And I'm going to send 2 more divisions to help. And in the meantime, since I already know these guys are going to have some problems with supply here shortly, I'm going to go ahead and attack into them. In fact, it didn't take long at all. Okay, port strike in Tunis. Make sure our interceptors are going to intercept here. They are set on intercept. They should be able to. Excellent. Interception tactics. Good deal. I saw something here. I want to get some more range on my tacks. So I'm going to add some more research tech for fuel tanks. Uh-oh, looks like the Germans have brought in some. Okay, that's good. Strategic bombers are almost up to speed. In fact, we can start them now. Let's get some serious logistics bombing here on this port. Take them down from, I guess I did airfield, huh? Runway crating, I certainly did. Well, that's good, because that will even increase the amount of supply the Germans need there. Because now they get to supply the airfield. We'll take them down from point 4. Curtis Channel Naval Strike. Okay. Looks like they've got some naval bombers or some CAGs down in Australia, perhaps Brisbane. Alright, it's port strike. Well, they're really hammering that destroyer flotilla. Tunis headquarters on those tacks. Not really doing much damage. Well, I guess that light cruiser Oakland took some damage. Alright, I really need to, let's see if these, that was a German. Okay, these strategic bombers seem to be up to speed here. Cagliari. Let's first see if we can take out this runway. Yeah, it's gone. Alright, well, time's up. A lot of stuff going on. Probably going to take Nimitz and send him back up the truck to repair. But that'll be in episode 19, as this is the end of episode 18. Thank you for watching. Again, if you have any questions or comments, or just want to tell me how stupid I am, feel free to post in the comments. I do read and answer all comments. Ciao.